Well, for those of you who don't know, I lost my current world. Well, I didn't lose everything as you can see, but this is just a backup. And in this video, we'll go through everything I've built for the last 2 years as a world tour. This video will be probably very boring, so feel free to click off it anytime you want. So sit down, take your favorite snack, and let's go through my all accomplishments. It would make sense to start from the beginning, and that's my starter house. And as you would expect, it's pretty basic. It contains most of the things you need in your first days. But after all, I still like it. Right next to it is my barn, which has cows, chickens, sheep and pigs in it. It also used to have donkeys and horses in it, but I moved them to another building. I don't really use this right now, but it fits to the atmosphere quite well. And with my starter house, this creates immersive atmosphere just like you're on the farm. And what's a farm without a windmill? Although the design isn't by me, it is absolutely inspired by Pixarif's, and if you're interested more, you can find the link to his videos down below. But now back to the windmill. I used it as a storage for some plants and some other natural items. And after all, it's a very nice cherry on the top in my farming district. To the right of my house is my cartography center. It's a place where I can make papers and other things such as maps. For me, it serves as a sugarcane farm. There are actually 6 sugarcane farms inside. And as a bonus, I also have a cartographer, so I can buy maps and other things from him. Right next to it is this little tower, which serves as a cactus farm. It's not really big, but it's still a great source of cactus. Behind it is an entrance to a cave, which is my source of bones and arrows. And if you jump down, it will lead you to my skeleton grinder. The next cave is more focused on stone, and that's because down here is my cobblestone farm. If we take a path along the bridge, it will lead us to my first spider house. But why is it really called spider house? It doesn't really have anything involved with spiders, right? Well, if you go to this corner and jump down this hole, you will get to my spider farm. And it actually works quite awesome. This is actually one of the only houses which has finished interior. And I'm not saying it's bad, I just think I could do better. And if we venture out into a nearby forest, we will certainly come across this interesting cave. And if you're wondering what's so special about it, it's definitely my zombie farm. Quite close to it is my second spider house. And yes, it's a farm for cave spiders this time. Interesting fact about this house is that this is the first house ever built on stream. Which reminds me of, let me know if you want to see me stream again, because I haven't been streaming for the last 8 months, I think. Now it is the right time when we make it into the city center. It contains many houses, so for a while we will go a little faster. When you enter, on the right is the first building built in this area. I use it as my main storage for all the blocks and items, which of course means it's absolutely filled with chests. Right next to it is a building which doesn't really have any purpose. It's just here because I wanted to try a new building style. It's completely hollow from the inside, but I used it as a place where I can have a map of my world. Right across the street is a building with quite a different roof. Yeah, I think I was really experimenting with roofs at that time. And from the inside we can find my honeycomb farm. Well, actually on the first floor is my honeycomb farm, and on the second one is my honey farm. And now on the left side is a quite interesting building. Even if it seems simple just like any other one, from the inside is something like a museum for all the special mobs that spawn during Halloween. Well, of course they don't have pumpkins right now because this is a backup. But if you're still curious, feel free to check out my second channel, and there is a short I made completely about these guys. Next up is a house which is built just for my little friends. And those little friends are LAs. This is a place where they can hang out and listen to music. Well, that's what I can say about the first floor. The second one is of course unfinished. Right across the river is this pink house, and as you can tell is the first house built after 1.20. It serves as a bamboo farm which works very well. This is probably the most exotic house I have ever built. This tiny house is a place for my cocoa bean farm. Even though it's small and I don't really use it as much, it is still nice to have some source for brown dye. Right next to it is one of the more recent houses. This one serves as a place for my moss farm. Even though it's hollow from the inside, the farm works very great and it looks nice from the outside. Right in front of it is this house which serves as an auto smelter, but since this house is L-shaped, I also had to curve the auto smelter. After all, it still works just fine as any other one. And for some reason I really like the roof. The following house is the most recent one, and probably the best looking out of all of them, but it's also the biggest house in the city. I was starting to build some smaller farms inside, and I was planning on adding more, but that's the point where my world accidentally crashed. This is my stable where I have every type of horse in the game and also donkey. Even if there's nothing inside the house, it still fits very well into the city atmosphere. This bread's so good. Oh, hi there! This building behind me is a farm for all colors of wool. This farm used to be very useful back in the day when I wanted to mine ancient debris for netherite. There's no door entrance, so only way to collect the wool is from the basement. Next to it is a house in which I was planning on bringing some shepherds. They would tell me some useful things, but I never really got into finishing it. Coming up next is this street with a couple small houses. None of them has any usage, so they are here just to fill the space. I tried to build each one in kinda different style, but it still fits great. After all, it's a nice cozy street and it looks amazing from the river. Now is the time when we talk about the two main buildings. They are in the absolute center of the city and they serve as a pumpkin and also a melon farm. They are also connected in the middle, so we might argue that it's actually a one building. There are also some honorable mentions around this center. For example, this is my muddy pond where all my frogs live. We can't forget about my snow farm, and also my lava farm, which was waiting to be finished, but I really never got into it. There is also a city's main ship on the sea, and inside it is my kelp farm. The last thing in my city center are my mountains. This is the biggest project out of all of them, and it took me around 7 months to build this. And if you're interested, I made a whole video about progress on this project. The last part of the city consists of 2 finished and 2 unfinished buildings. Let's talk about the finished ones first. What's interesting about this building is that I used bee nests as walls. And inside you can find librarians for every type of enchantment. This building was also built on stream and it was really a great experience. Next up is a building from my first video on this channel. It serves as a place where I can have all armor trims for my armor. First one out of the unfinished ones is my automatic brewing farm. And since I built it, I actually never used it. The last one is automatic crop farm, which provides crops, as you can tell. Now we have talked about everything from the main city. That's actually the biggest part of the video done, and it actually took me most of the time in this world to build. Let's move to some other projects around the city. In a nearby swamp is my excavation for a fossil. It was really fun to dig out and also design, and I think it looks amazing. After all, it's really interesting to find something like this. Pretty close to it is this abandoned and destroyed building. It took me a while to come up with this design, but I think it came out pretty well. And also inside it is my witch farm. And at one point it was a really great source of gunpowder for rockets. The next project nearby my city is this fishing village. Well, it may seem like one, because none of these houses is meant for fishing. For example, in this house is a villager which sells me golden carrots whenever I need some. I like to use this house to farm flowers which are 2 blocks tall. Next one serves as a place where I can manually make potions. There is also a small redstone project which helps me convert concrete. This was the first house in this area and I think it works really well. Right next to it is a house which might seem pretty basic, but if you take this path and also take this little minecart ride, after a small period of time you will get to my squid farm. And this is it. I really like how... oh, poor fish. It was pretty nice spinning right there. Well, after all, I really like how it's hidden underground. And of course, since this is a fishing village, we can't forget about my fishermen's. Little into the ocean is this weird spike, and if you're wondering what is inside, it is my creeper farm. I don't really think it looks super great, but at least it serves its purpose, and that is to hide the creeper farm. The last project is my drained ocean monument, and this has to be my favorite project out of all of them. We also can't forget about my guardian farm, which is inside of the monument. A really interesting fact about this project is that it took me exactly 100 hours to build. After all, I really like it and I also really enjoy the ocean atmosphere. And this is really everything I've done. It was such a great experience to build everything we've gone through, and also it's an amazing experience to make a video like this. The whole entire purpose of this world was to make me learn how to build better, and I think it kinda served its purpose. And that's probably the biggest reason why I don't want to continue in this world, which might make a question about what am I going to do next? Well, I'm thinking of starting an actual hardcore series. It will be mostly chill and it won't be about huge projects. It will be more focused on enjoying the parts of the game and also building a world which has a story. And since we're coming to the end, thank you for watching this world tour.